Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you the first things that you should do after setting up your Motorola Edge 60 Pro. So if you've just set up your Motorola Edge 60 Pro, there are a few things that you can do to enhance your experience and also to improve some things on your phone. But also there will be some things that you need to configure anyway, so it's best to do it at the beginning. And let's begin with those. So what I mean by that, let's go to the settings. First I'm gonna click on maybe later, so I just don't go through any features or whatever it is. Go to settings, and then if you haven't connected to Wi-Fi, you most probably already have done it, but if you haven't, go to network and internet, Wi-Fi, make sure that Wi-Fi is enabled and select the Wi-Fi network you want to connect to. Now go back and scroll all the way down until you find system updates. Here, click on check for updates and see if there is any software update available. If there is any, I would highly recommend installing it so your phone runs smoothly, securely and has the newest features. Once you got that, you just need to, if there's any update available, click on download and install, and once you download and install all of it, it'll simply prompt you to restart your phone and you'll be good to go after the restart. Now let's go to the passwords, passkeys and accounts, and if under accounts for owner you don't have any Google account, you should add it. Of course you don't have to if you really don't want, but I would highly recommend doing that for two main reasons. So the first reason is to have access to Google Play Store so you can download apps and update them and do all this kinds of stuff, but also to have access to Find My Device service, so in case you lose your phone or it gets stolen, you can simply track its location or even lock it or erase it. You can also play a sound if it's somewhere near you. And to do it, you just need to sign into your Google account on any other device. You can also do it in browser and search for Google Find My Device, and then you'll be able to track your device. So let's just select Google so we can sign in here, and then enter your email or phone, or if you don't have an account, you can click on create account. Now also enter the password, which I'm gonna do off camera. And now as you can see, it asks you who will be using this device, and I will be using it, so that's what I select. If you select that your child will be using it, then probably the further steps may vary a little bit. Then you need to agree to Google Terms of Service, Google Play Terms of Service and privacy policy in order to be able to add the account. And now select whether you want to back up your device's data. If you don't know, then I'd suggest you leaving that enabled so you don't lose your data in case anything bad happens to your phone. Let's click on accept now, and the account is added, so we can go to the Play Store. And in the Play Store we'll be updating apps because it's important for the very same reason as updating your phone, so for security, smoothness, and to have the newest features, but also some apps just won't work without an update. In the Play Store, click on your profile icon in top right corner and click on My Apps and Games. Then go to Updates and check for updates. It actually says that I'm all set and I don't need to update anything, but if in your case there is anything to update, I highly recommend clicking on Update All. Now, once we have it, we can go to the next step, which is setting up our screen lock and potentially also biometrics. To do that, go to the settings, then go to security and privacy, device unlock, And if your screen lock is set to none or swipe, I would highly recommend setting it to pin, pattern or password. But before you do that, please make sure that you set it to something that you can remember, because in case you forget your pin, password or pattern, there will be no way to restore it besides erasing everything on your phone. But I think it's still worth having a pin, pattern or password so no one else besides you has access to your private data. Let's go to screen lock, select the type of screen lock that you want to set, and then enter the screen lock that you can remember, but also try making it hard enough to guess. Then you need to click on done, enter it again and click on confirm, and select what will happen to the lock screen notifications. So I'm gonna select show sensitive content only when unlocked. So if my phone is locked, I'll see the name of the app I've received a notification from, but I won't see its details unless I unlock my phone. Let's click on done now and set up the fingerprint if you wish, because it's very convenient and also secure enough. So let's do that. Let's go to fingerprint, enter the pattern and or pin or password and click on setup. Now it says that if you're using a screen protector, there is a chance that your fingerprint may not be working properly, and also if you change screen protector you may need to re-enroll your fingerprint. Let's click on got it and place the fingerprint the finger on the fingerprint sensor, then release and repeat that several times. Remember to move your finger between each scan so it scans the whole area of your fingerprint. And just do it all like that. You can see it's also a light sensor, so it should work pretty quickly and smoothly. We'll see that in a moment. You can add another or click on done and select animation styles if you wish. You can just click on that and change the animation styles, but I'm gonna leave on the radial waves. Now let's go back, and there is also face unlock, which I don't recommend setting up, and I'm not gonna set it up because I don't find it secure since it only based on the camera. There are phones on the market that are based on IR sensors which make it very secure, but this one does not belong to that group, which means that if you unlock your phone with face, it only based on the camera, so it can be unlocked with a photo of you or by someone who looks similar to you, which we probably don't want, so I'm gonna skip that. Now I'm gonna show you how to unlock your phone in these two methods. So the first one is clicking on the power button, swiping up and entering your screen lock. The fingerprint method I think should be working even if your screen is off, by just tapping in the correct spot, and as you can see it works. Probably after a certain time of using your phone, you'll get used where the spot is, so you'll always like hit it correctly. And now let's see. You might have noticed that my wallpaper changes, and I don't like that feature. I know that some of the people like it, but I want to have a static wallpaper. So if you do as well, go to home and lock screen, I believe. Then lock screen, I think, live lock screen, and disable changing wallpapers and stories, then deactivate. And now I should have a static wallpaper that's the same as my home screen. And since we're talking about wallpapers, let's customize our wallpaper. So to do that, you can either use a photo provided by Motorola. You can also take a photo now, transfer it from your previous device, or download it from the internet. I'm gonna take a photo now because I don't have anything in my gallery. So let's just take a photo of maybe this plant, why not? And then go to the settings to set it as our wallpaper. Simply go to personalize, wallpaper, and select whether you want to set a wallpaper for your lock screen or for the home screen. I'm gonna set it for the lock screen. Then I think that no, actually you need to first scroll down and select whether you want to select a wallpaper from your photos, create it with AI, select a dynamic or curated image from Motorola. So I'm gonna select my photos, then allow all, and select the photo I want to set. Then you can animate it if you wish. You can also stylize it to some like weird styles if you want, but I don't want it. And then you can also blur it out if you want, or change the brightness of the wallpaper. I think that brightness may be actually helpful in my case. See, this wallpaper is kind of dark. Now it looks way better. Let's click on set and now select whether to set it as home, lock, or both screens. I'm setting it as only the lock screen, and this is how it looks. Now my wallpaper is set. Let's go to another step which is pretty important, which is clicking on the notification here at the top. If you slide down from the top of your screen, you'll see the notification center, and finish setting up your device is the notification that you need to click on anyway. So you need to click on continue setup wizard, then start. And if you want to set up your phone using another device, which means it'll copy settings, accounts, apps, data, images, and everything onto your new device, then it's best to do it now, because later that option, that native method, may be unavailable. And you can do that with third-party apps, but I think it's the best to do it with the native method. So if you want to do it now. Then I'm gonna click on skip because I actually don't have anything important to copy. But if you select either Android device or iPhone or iPad, then don't worry, everything will be pretty intuitive and you will be able to simply follow it all. Now let's wait until it all loads, and then it asks me if I want to connect to mobile network by inserting a physical SIM card or setting up an eSIM. I don't want, so I'm gonna skip it, but of course feel free to do it now or later in settings, or just if you want to enter the physical SIM, then feel free to just simply put it in. And now I'm gonna confirm my pattern for some reason, and then it asks me for the last time if I want to copy apps and data from my previous device. Later on, that native method will be unavailable. I accidentally skipped. I accidentally went back. Let's see if it goes back to the point where I wanted to put it. Okay, so I'm there. Let's click on don't copy or next if you wish. Then I'm gonna click on continue setup because I don't really get why it gives me an option to leave and get reminder. I just click on a reminder about it, so I just want to finish it all so it doesn't remind me anymore. You can either agree or disagree to nearby share, which lets people with Android phones that you have in contacts share with you different files. I'm gonna agree to that because why not? And then let's click on continue. And if you want to use Gemini, which is your AI assistant that is replacing Google Assistant, if you want to use it hands-free without pressing on any buttons by saying Hey Google out loud, then you can turn on Hey Google, and then it asks me for Google Pay. If you want to set up Google Pay, feel free to add your card, and don't worry about the security. It is bank authorized, provided by Google, and also requires the phone to be unlocked in order to use it. So feel free to set up the Google Pay, and then whenever you just open Google Wallet app, once your phone is unlocked, you'll be able to tap your phone to the reader in stores without reaching out to your wallet for your payment card and pay using your phone. I'm gonna skip it because I don't want to add it on the video now. And by the way, the Google Wallet app, if you've set it up, is here. But let's also check if we have an option to add the wallet to so-called quick settings. If you slide down from the top of your screen, you'll see 4 quick settings at the top. If you slide down again, you'll see more of them. And as you can see, there is wallet. So you don't need to go to your home screen and search for the wallet app. You can always find it right here. And that's as simple as it is. Now let's get to the last step, which is settings. In settings, you'll find battery, and we just need to make sure that optimized charging is enabled. I would highly recommend enabling that, and let me tell you why. So optimized charging learns your charging habits and adjusts the patterns accordingly. So for example, if you charge your phone every night, then after a certain time it'll learn the hours between which you charge your phone usually, and then it will charge up to 80%. If you plug it in, it'll charge up to 80%, then pause charging and resume about an hour before you're expected to unplug your phone, and charge up to the 100 at a slower rate, so your phone just doesn't overcharge overnight and has a higher longevity. That's why I like to enable that. And now everything that I wanted to show you is set up. The last thing that you can do is if you see like some different weird games or something like that, most of these games, like, they are called bloatware. So if you swipe up on the home screen, if you enter the app library, these games are called bloatware. They are unimportant. You can simply uninstall them by pressing and holding. They just make a mess on your home screen. So what you can do is press and hold, click on app info and click on uninstall, and I highly recommend doing that so your app library is uncluttered and you have more free space on your phone. And these games are just not worth playing in most cases, since they mainly contain ads, and that's what I highly recommend doing. And I hope that video helped you. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.